Leo, this is your weekly astrology forecast from Astrology Motivation by Born Without Boundaries. Hi guys, and thank you so much for clicking on my video. My name is Michelle, and in this video we're going to go over the major planetary aspects and transits and how they impact your natal sun and what that means for your week, for your day-to-day. I'm going to start really broad with the big stuff that is impacting everybody, and then we're going to narrow it down to Leo's specific interests, and then I'll get down into how each of the planets is interacting with your natal sun, what angles they're forming, and what that means. You don't need to know where your natal sun is located to watch this video and enjoy it and get a lot from it, as I'll be estimating the correlating birth dates. So all you really need to know is your birthday. But if you want it to be the most accurate, then go ahead and get your natal chart. And that's really easy. It's free online. Just search for free natal chart. You need your birth date, which you already have, your birth time, and your birth location, all of which is found in your birth certificate. All right, Leos, let's dig in. The big stuff. Well, there's a new moon that's coming. Well, this is the week from May 12th to the 18th. Now, on the 19th, there's a new moon. But the moon conjuncts Uranus the day before, and the moon is actually very active. It's going to be conjuncting all these major planets as it works its way up to the new moon, because it's basically jumping from Aquarius through Taurus. It's a new moon in Taurus by the 19th. So it's going to conjunct Uranus the day before, which is an oddball, peculiar, and really interesting kind of mixture, to be honest with you. Strange things can be happening. I feel like it's almost stranger than a full moon when the moon conjuncts the Uranus. I think it's even stranger than the full moon. But this week, from between May 12th and 18th, the 15th, Mercury goes direct. Now, you'll still be feeling Mercury retrograde up through like the 22nd, but at least we know Mercury is posting direct. It'll post direct at 5 degrees Taurus, and it is sextile to Saturn. So that means really brilliant breakthroughs, stability in mentality, and that sextile to Saturn could mean we see a stabilization in Mercury-based interactions and subject matters like communications, like day-to-day schedules, like day-to-day 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 mechanical things. All of those things we might be seeing much more stability in, because there is a sextile to Saturn. So good news for us. On the 17th, Jupiter transits into Taurus, and this is probably the biggest move, as Jupiter is square to Pluto and square to Mars, which is inching closer to Leo as we speak, but it's not in Leo yet. It's in the third decan of Cancer, which means it's in the last 10 degrees of Cancer, and it is forming an opposition to Pluto. So there's a big aspect in the sky, and it's started forming last week. Now it's going to tighten up, and next week it's going to get even tighter. And that is this grand cross in the sky. Jupiter in opposition, in conjunction with the South Node, in opposition to in conjunction with the North Node, in opposition to the South Node in Scorpio. And then we have Pluto at 0 degrees Aquarius in opposition to Mars, now at like 25 to 27 degrees Cancer. So we have this grand cross in the sky, and grand crosses are very difficult energies. They're almost like compaction, combustible, kind of imploding type of energy, but that's because we want to unclog this clog, and at this point we don't even care if the drain explodes. It's got to push through. This new moon might bring some very, very, very new things. So Sun, your ruling dignitary is the Sun, and the Sun is in Taurus, and of course it's heavily involved in the new moon. That's what a new moon is. The Sun conjunct the moon, but that happens on the 19th. So until then, the Sun is moving between oh my god, I think I flipped this the other way, between 21 and 26 degrees Taurus this week. It is trine to Pluto, which is beautiful energy. It is having the authority and power of character and confidence, even in things that are unseen, to move forward even when the world tells you no. You are so in tune with your God space that absolutely you're moving forward. We also have a sextile to Mars. The Sun sextile Mars is confidence, it's fertility, it's vivaciousness, it's energy. It's just pure energy, courage, and confidence. And then, of course, we have also a sextile to Neptune, which is pure creativity. It is just forging forward, getting things done, creating from this genius space of imagination. There is one little caveat. There's a semi-square to Venus, which could mean that there are some financial challenges or just stubbornnesses when it comes to relationship issues or love issues or a love interest that you're dealing with. It is not going to put you astray or especially with all these other things, no way. It just could cause a little bit of an irritation. But that's what the Sun, that's what's happening with the Sun. And all of this is happening in Taurus, which means it's focused or illuminating financial situations. So you let me know in the comments below. There is no planet right now, no major planet that's in Leo, but your natal suns will always form some angle to these other planets. And if you are born between 0 and 9 degrees Leo, you are a Leo 1 because your sun is somewhere within the first decan or group of 10 degrees of Leo. Now, Leo 1s are generally speaking July Leos. Anywhere from July 22nd through maybe the 31st of July is going to be the first decan of Leo. Your natal suns are square to Mercury retrograde, which means even when it goes direct, even though Mercury is going to be sextile to Saturn, there's still a big irritation for you. So expect communication breakdowns, not being able to get your words straight, being misunderstood, mechanical failures, etc., etc. Expect that to be a little bit exaggerated this week. And then we have Saturn. So you're also quincunx to Saturn, which means stalling, obligations, contracts that needed to be signed, paperwork that's more of an obligation holding you back, authority figures that just are too busy to give you their permission or attention, or they've got too much to say, or you need to go through this legal process or this legal, all that kind of frustrating stuff is going to be impacting you. And on top of that square to Mercury right now, it could be a very frustrating week for you, especially since your natal suns are the ones that are conjunct to Mars and in opposition to Pluto. So if you are on the Cancer cusp, you are conjunct to Mars. But you are definitely, you are opposite. Your natal suns are opposite Pluto. So you are really ground zero when it comes to this grand cross in the sky. So there's a relentless energy there. And with all this frustration, there's just a sense of big, explosive frustration. So self-care is something I highly recommend this week to calm your nerves, and counting to 10 before you speak or before you reply back, because you could be really punchy and impulsive this week and get really physical. So just watch your anger levels and your impulsivity levels. Very, very important this week. Leo 2s. Your natal suns are between 10 and 19 degrees Leo, and that estimates to birthdays that are from the first 10 days of August, 1st of August to the 9th of August. Your natal suns long-term transits, a long-term square to Uranus, which you've probably gotten used to, curveballs coming and smacking you upside the head, not knowing what to expect, and really them challenging you and pushing you out of your comfort zone, and maybe even forcing you to learn new things that are expanding your education and your academia, which is exactly what Uranus wants to do. Wants to give you brain teasers and challenge you, and I'm sure that you're getting a lot of that, and you have been, since this has been in place for a couple of years and will be in for a couple of more. But this week, because Uranus is going to be conjunct the moon on May 18th, you could get a little extra moody and a little extra sensitive and a little extra aggravated. Just an FYI on the 18th. And then another long-term transit, you are trying to Chiron, which means you're healing. You're healing especially from old physical injuries because Chiron is in Aries. So there's a sense of healing that is going on. Really beautiful energy long-term. The moon is going to be conjunct to Chiron on the 16th. So expect there to be maybe a little extra just sadness or emotional release on that day with regards to any kind of old wounds or injuries. And then we have Leo 3s. And those of you, Leo 3s are anybody whose natal sun is between 20 and 29 degrees Leo. Basically the last 10 days of Leo season from the 10th through maybe the 20th or 21st. I would guesstimate around there. So your natal suns are square to the sun. They will be square to the new moon on the 19th, which means there will be challenges to this new beginning, especially if there are financial issues or disturbances. And square to the sun just means you could be a little bit more egotistical and more arrogant and have more arrogance and less confidence, but you will definitely be ready to be seen. You're trying to Jupiter, which is actually really lucky and beautiful energy, and that could help you expand and grow, but with ease and grace. Quincunx to Neptune may just mean long term. Actually, it's been going on for a couple of years, so I think you're probably used to this by now as distractibility, or your mind wanders a little bit more than it used to, but it's very creative energy, so use it to create and you'll help to focus it in a good way. And then there is this long term for this year opposition to Saturn. And so the opposition to Saturn is a tough one because Saturn's tough to begin with, and you've already got that pressure with the sun. There's just this opposition to Saturn means that it's just you're working too hard, you're overworking yourself. It's like you're a perfectionist. If things aren't done exactly correct, or if you don't work hard, you don't think you're working good enough. It's a high pressure situation where you're probably putting too much pressure or stress on yourself, and you won't leave yourself alone. This is something for the next year that you will want to schedule regular massages for, regular sensory deprivation tank sessions for, if you can afford them. Something you all can afford, maybe a walk on the beach barefoot, a walk through a park barefoot, to help ground yourself and help to sort of tranquilize those free radicals in your system firing off all the time. Grounding yourself will really help, but you'll need it because you're overstressing yourself. And even though it may feel like you're getting ahead, sometimes you don't. You're just putting these unrealistic expectations on yourself, and you do have to be aware of that and watch out for that. Let me know how you are experiencing these aspects impacting your life, and definitely come on over to Born Without Boundaries Tarot for your week ahead tarot card reading. I would love to see you guys there. Before you click off, subscribe to this channel and give me a thumbs up. It'll help the channel grow. I love you, and I'll see you next week, Leo. Bye.